Welcome to this morning's international news. Let's hear the headlines first. Macron extends virus lockdown in France until May 11. Modi extends India's COVID-19 lockdown till May 3rd. COVID-19 is 10 times more deadlier than swine flu, says WHO. First sailor on virus-stricken USS Roosevelt dies. Coronavirus pandemic could threaten global food supply, UN warns. And coronavirus upends Putin's political agenda in Russia. These were the headlines. Let's hear the details news now. President Emmanuel Macron on Monday extended France's strike lockdown to combat the coronavirus until May 11th, with a progressive relaxation of the measures planned after that if the outbreak has slowed. The epidemic was beginning to steady. Hope is returning, Macron said in an address to the nation. The strike confinement must continue until May 11. But he also warned that easing the lockdown then would only be possible if we continue to be good citizens, responsible and respect the rules, and if the spread of the virus has indeed continued to slow, he said. Schools would start to reopen from May 11, but restaurants and cafes would remain shut. Borders with non-European countries would remain closed until further notice, Macron added. Macron's comment came after a gradual improvement in the figures from France, with daily death tolls of their peak of a week ago and the number of people in intensive care now failing. May 11 will be the start of a new phase. It will be progressive and the rules can be adapted according to the results, he said. He admitted that there had been shortcomings, as in all countries of the world, and the France had not been sufficiently prepared. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday extended the nationwide lockdown till May 3rd in order to prevent spread of coronavirus. Business Standard reports. The total number of confirmed corona cases in India has reached 10,453 and fatalities 358 according to Worldmeter. With 1,985 cases, Maharashtra has the highest number of cases in the country, while Madhya Pradesh has the highest death rate among all Indian states. Globally, 1,19,682 people have died from COVID-19 and confirmed infections have reached 19,24,927. The novel coronavirus is 10 times more deadlier than swine flu, which caused a global pandemic in 2009. The World Health Organization said on Monday, stressing a vacation would be necessary to fully halt transmission. WHO Chief Tedros told a virtual briefing from Geneva at the organization's was constantly learning about the new virus sweeping the globe, which has now killed nearly 115,000 people and infected over 1.8 billion. We know that COVID-19 spreads first and we know that is deadly, 10 times deadlier than 2009 flu pandemic, he said. WHO says 18,500 people died of swine flu or H1N1, which was first uncovered in Mexico and the United States in March 2009. But the Lancet Medical estimated the toll of between 1,51,700 and 5,75,400. A sailor who was serving aboard the USS Roosevelt aircraft carrier has become the first on the ship to die from COVID-19, the US Navy announced. The sailor was moved to an isolation house on Guam after testing positive, where he was found unresponsive on 9th April, died on 13th April. Over 5,500 sailors on the USS Roosevelt have tested positive for the virus. The ship's captain was fired this month after his letter pleading for help with the outbreak was leaked to US media. The USS Theodore Roosevelt is currently stationed in Guam, with sailors quarantining ashore. The name of the sailor who died has been withheld by the Navy until the family is noticed. According to a statement by the Navy, the sailor tested positive for the virus on 30th March and was isolated at the naval base with our others, four members. He received twice daily medical necks and found unresponsive on Thursday morning. As the novel coronavirus pandemic shuts down business globally and sends countries into lockdown, the distribution and threatening to cut off supply chains and increase food insecurity. Supermarket shelves remain stocked for now, the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations said, a report released later last month. But a protracted pandemic crisis could quickly put a strain on the food chain supply and complex web of interaction involving farmers, agricultural inputs, processing plants, shipping, retailers, and more. The issue, however, is not food scarcity, at least not yet. Rather, it's the world's drastic measures is response to the virus. Border closures, movement restrictions, and distributions in the shipping and aviation industries have made it harder to continue food production and transport goods internationally, placing countries with few alternative food sources at high risk. Spring is not turning out the way Russian President Vladimir Putin might have planned it. A nationwide vote on April 22nd was supposed to finalize sweeping constitutional reforms that would allow him to stay in power until 2036 if he wished. But after the coronavirus spread in Russia, the plebiscite had to be postponed, an action so abrupt that billboards prompting it already had been erected in Moscow and other big cities. Now under threat is a pomp-filled celebration of Victory Day on May 9, marking the 1945 defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II. The holiday has become the most important of Russia's calendar, and this year is the 75th anniversary, with world leaders invited to a celebrating highlighting the country's exceptional role in history. Every year, thousands gather in Moscow, including many elderly veterans proudly wearing their medals.